In this next exercise, we're going to show you how to use something called a centrifuge. You should be able to find and locate the centrifuge in room 206 and be able to share with other students. The materials needed for this lab will be microcentrifuge tube again, the centrifuge itself, bacterial culture. This could come in the form of a flask or a tube, so ask your instructor. A liquid waste beaker. Make sure that you dump anything that is bacteria related into biohazard liquid waste beaker. The tips, and then you can get started. So what is centrifuge usually used for? Well, you can see in this culture, the bacteria is suspended in the liquid. And so there are usually the goal of collecting the bacteria. And by doing centrifugation, all the bacteria is going to come down together and leave the media up as liquid. And so that's one thing that we usually use centrifuge for. Another thing, it could be a quick spin, because when you have sample, some of the liquid might be stuck on the lid, and if you open, then it splatters all over. And so you can do a quick centrifugation, which spins the tube and pellets down the liquid, as you will quickly see now. And so let's start in number 1. You're going to pipette 0.8 ml of bacteria for each student. So as a pair, you should have 2 already pipetted. We're not going to go over this because we've gone through pipettement many times. Now let's go over to the centrifuge and see how we're going to do this. You're going to open the lid to the centrifuge, and then you're going to pull the top metal lid of the transparent plastic lid to gain access to, this is called the rotor. It's going to spin. You place one microcentrifuge tube in one of the position. Here I'm going to do one, and then the other one needs to be directly across from it. So I'm going to put it in 13. Now more student can put in the same spin as well. Once everybody have loaded, and make sure there is a balancing microcentrifuge tube across from it. Then you can close the lid, place the plastic lid onto the rotor, and you want it to close tightly, because if you don't and you spin it, there's going to be a really high-pitched sound during centrifugation. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate that. If I forgot about this, and then we actually start spinning. Do you hear that? It's going to be super, super loud. So during lab, if you hear that, the main problem is someone forgot to put the plastic lid on. So definitely stop it, and then make sure the lid is on. Close the top lid. Then set it to the speed of 13.2 K. And then for 1 minute, we're going to then press this. Once you're done, open the lid, and then open the plastic lid, and then now you can take a look at the samples that you've done. And as you can see, the bacteria has pelleted down. We call this pellet, this solid. And you can see the liquid is now transparent. We call this supernatant, or sometimes you're going to hear scientists call it soup. So the top clear liquid is called supernatant, or soup. This bottom thick solid is called pellet, and that's actually our bacteria. So the bacteria weighs heavier, and when it spins, it actually pellets down, and now you have 2 tubes with bacteria pellet. This is how we separate the bacteria out from its culture media. Next, you're going to come over and then actually dump out the liquid into the biohazard liquid waste, like so. And yes, you don't need a pipette. The pellet is actually pretty solid. And then now you can see how you have the bacteria pellet. So then label it with your name and then turn it into your instructor for feedback.